The Witcher 4 is completely dead. Fully lost to Vogue. If you are paying any attention to the Witcher 4 news or what CDPR is doing, you know how truly bad things are looking at this point. CDPR is the next big company to completely get eviscerated and die in a mountain of debt at this point. They are so close to it, it's not even funny at this point. And the chances that The Witcher 4 is going to be even remotely a good game is pretty much zero at this point. And if you don't know anything, I'm just going to give you a small summary. First, we have the situation where pretty much every single person who made CDPR and the games that you love, The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt, and Cyberpunk, all of those people are gone at this point. All of those people have gone and opened new studios with people from the old CDPR. While the CEO is literally openly lying that no one has left the company, even though people have proved that he is lying already by just comparing the people currently working the list with the people who made X Games list. All of the people are gone. They literally tried to pull another Cyberpunk 2077 disaster on us with the Witcher 4 gameplay showcase. Yes, that one. You know, the one where they pretended that that is the game that they're gonna play. That tech showcase was gonna be the game that we're gonna get. Which still to this day, by the way, a lot of people defend, and I'm pretty sure those are actual people, not bots. A lot of people are defending it and saying, oh no, CDPR never intended to dupe people into believing that that's actual gameplay. And you know what? Yes, I agree, obviously. The guy on the stage with the controller who tried to mimic the actions on screen while with the controller in hand, you know, the guy that they zoomed on the controller to see that he's moving the controller? Yeah, that one? Yeah, I'm sure they were not trying to sell that as legitimate in-game footage. I'm so sure of it, obviously. I'm sure, boys. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's cool. And from CDPR's, I mean, pretty much the last 2 years of hiring woke activists for major positions, which is the funniest thing ever, because people, when they saw who they're hiring, for example, for the community manager, a complete activist, purple hair, the works. People were mad and upset, and now CDPR is doing, by the way, a very interesting thing, if you did not know. They're trying to hide all of this. They didn't fire that community manager, but that community manager has scrubbed all of their woke stuff from their Twitters, from their bios. They're still that same person with those same beliefs, but for some reason they scrubbed all of the things, which is very interesting if you ask me. And it's pretty certain that at this point we are going to be getting a Witcher 3 DLC to slowly ease us into the Witcher 4, because not a lot of people are liking the idea of Siri. Come on, camera, it's 2026, the big year. Work properly, please. And a lot of people are not happy with the idea of playing Siri. Not because it's a bad character, Siri's amazing, but what they have done to her. In every single trailer that we have, Siri just looks abysmal. She's just unlikable. She acts like a villain most of the time. It's pretty sad what they have done to our girl.
The Witcher 3 DLC just got some exciting news. A new piece of evidence was recently discovered that might be yet another sign that something is genuinely happening behind the scenes. Now, for well over a year, we've been covering the leaks and rumors surrounding a third Witcher 3 DLC or expansion, and they have been steady, but up until now, it's been mostly speculation, comments from insiders on podcasts and industry analyst predictions, but really nothing concrete. Nothing that, you could point and say, yes, this right here is the smoking gun. However, recently I was sent.
True, but a lot of these people that have said things about The Witcher have almost a 100% being right track record, which is, I mean, that does have to account for something.
something by someone in the Witcher community, and this specific detail might just be the smoking gun that we've been waiting for. Usually when there's smoke, there's fire, and I'm sure Geralt's ready to cast Igni at any time. Now, we are officially 4 days away from the 11-year anniversary of The Witcher 3. Yes, time flies by.
I find it funny that Geralt and Best can make fucking sparks, maybe, but Ciri's literally the fucking avatar now.
We're all getting older. Things could get wild over the next few days and weeks, so we have a lot to cover. Check the chapters for easy viewing, and let's dive in. Okay, let's just jump into things. This is according to Mr. Frost PvP, aka Chaos, over on Twitter. Shout out to them. I was actually tweeted this directly, and a few other outlets, covered this as well, so I figured I'd bring it to you guys. But they recently found someone on LinkedIn who actively works for the quote-unquote gameplay systems and UI elements on a Witcher project, with the work starting in January of 2026. So that means somebody that works at one of CDPR's partner studios has been actively building Witcher content for the last 4 months straight. But the part that really matters here is the specific tools listed in the profile. The work is being done in Red Engine and Witcher script. Now, here's why that is really important. Obviously, we've got, The Witcher 4, that's being currently built in Unreal Engine 5. We've got The Witcher 1.
Yeah, remember this? They literally tried to sell you the idea that this is gonna be how the game is, how the game looks and plays. And then when people called it bullshit, they were like, "Oh, we actually never intended you to believe that this is the real thing." Pathetic.
Remake, which that's going to happen after The Witcher 4, but that's also going to be done in UE5, which that's done by Fool's Theory again.
But admittedly, we do have one win. After everyone complained in the first initial trailers how ungodly ugly Ciri was, they did tone her up a little bit.
Not using Red Engine. CDPR has been moving the entire studio away from their proprietary engine for years. They've been moving basically everything to Unreal Engine 5. So we have somebody that's actively working in Red Engine and, Witcher script in 2026 on a Witcher project. So what does that actually mean? Now, the list of possible answers are pretty short. Like, obviously, the one that I want it to be is, Witcher 3 DLC or new content coming to the game. But then there's like the practical approach, and, we do have the console mods update that's dropping, sometime soon, or at least we hope it's going to be soon. So really there's only a couple possibilities. Either they're working on DLC or new content for the game, or they're working on the console mods update that, again, we know is coming out. But I won't lie to you guys, like, the DLC explanation makes a lot of sense, especially for a development timeline that's been running since.
Yeah, the development timeline, something like this should happen. It's the only thing that does make sense currently. But above everything else, it's like, people want to actually figure out what the hell is happening, because the end of The Witcher 3 and what you're getting in The Witcher 4, I mean, that does require a little bit of explanation. And by a little bit, I mean a lot. And probably none of it's going to be good.
January of this year. I'm sorry, I don't know of a console mod update that really requires 4 months of development, like, or 5, I guess. Dude, it's been 5 months. Holy crap, we're in May. I guess it is possible that this is just for the console mods update, but like, dude, that must be the biggest and best update ever created for having a dedicated person on it for 5 months. Like, that's pretty wild. Now, to add even more weight to this leak, or I guess we can throw more kindling and wood and everything on the fire with a little bit of gasoline. Again, if you look at the LinkedIn profile, which I'm not going to show the user, but if you look at it, it says they're a UI programmer at Ubisoft for CD Projekt Red. I believe it's Ubisoft. I don't really know, dude. I just see words sometimes and I'm like, is this the correct pronunciation? Like, I read all the time, and I'm currently, working through some Brandon Sanderson stuff, and I'm like, I don't really know how to pronounce this stuff. But Ubisoft has been working hand in hand with CD Projekt Red all the way back to The Witcher 3 Complete Edition. They were involved in The Witcher 3 mod support, like the initial PC mod support, and the work they did on Cyberpunk was very similar to the work they did with The Witcher 3, mainly working with the Red kit to make it so it's easier to mod games. So that's kind of what leans me to believe that this person was working specifically for, Ubisoft with CDPR on their Red kit, which again, this further confirms that this, developer is working on the Red kit for the possible, console mod support for Witcher 3. So not only is this development studio known for working on modding tools for, CDPR's, various games like The Witcher and Cyberpunk 2077, but here's where the story gets more interesting, because Ubisoft is not the only studio with their fingers on this project. Obviously, we know that the new content, like the new DLC or, expansion, is being developed by Fool's Theory. At least that's what, we've heard from all the leaks and rumors, if they're indeed real. Remember, they've been working closely with CDPR for years. They're comprised with
Fool's Theory's ex-CDR personnel. The personnel that's still obviously working at CDPR Red, because don't worry about it. It makes sense if you don't think about stuff.
CDPR developers. And if you guys remember all of the craziness that started this with the Polish podcast that, back in mid 2025 stated that the unannounced secret project that was CDPR is doing with Fool's Theory is the story-driven DLC for The Witcher 3. Now, what makes this even more compelling is what Fool's Theory has been doing publicly. Obviously, they reportedly have 100 developers working on a quote-unquote unannounced project, which that project is not The Witcher 1 remake. They're also actively hiring marketing specialists right now, which seems a little bit too early for a remake that's still very early in development. Like, they probably haven't even thought about the Witcher 1 remake yet. Now, typically for marketing hires, they usually come in about 12 to 18 months before launch, not several years away, which that tells us that whatever project that they're working on is actually way closer to launch than people are assuming. Now, if we actually put the pieces together, we tie it up in a nice little bow, we, paint a clear picture, have you. Ubisoft are the ones actively, coding in the Red engine for Red Kit, specifically for that console modding update. But, then we have Fool's Theory that has 100 plus people on a team for an unannounced project that is explicitly not the remake. And then we have CDPR that's been, non-existent essentially whenever it comes to dismissing the claims of this DLC, which they've known to shut things down pretty quickly. And the fact they haven't been doing it is a red flag in its own. So yeah, they've been dousing this fire like crazy with gasoline, like straight up. But this is where things get genuinely exciting. I'm gonna have to, put the bow aside and put my tinfoil hat on because we got some schizo posting to do. We are sitting right at the edge.
I only appreciate schizo posting at this point. Let's be real, everything else is kind of boring.
Of the perfect marketing window for CD Projekt Red to drop a major announcement. The Witcher 3 originally released back in May 19th, 2015. Again, holy crap, we're all old, which means that we are coming up on the 11th year anniversary in just 4 days. And from a, marketing perspective, this would be the ideal moment for CDPR to either, tease the DLC or even more wildly, wild huntly, they pull an Oblivion remastered and shadow drop this, before Nate the Hate eventually gets the scoop and, spoils it. The next gen update for The Witcher 3 dropped in December of 2022 with a very, light build up. The console mods update is already on the way. Like, we know for a fact they've confirmed it. So imagine this, let's go on a little stroll with me, or, if you've been playing a lot of Windrose like me, get off your pirate ship and let's take a walk on the beach. Imagine you log into Steam on May 19th to celebrate the 11-year anniversary. You want to boot up the game. You want to re-experience the glory that was The Witcher 3, so you decide to, jump on the game. But you look at Steam and then boom, there's an update. Did it break your mods? Of course it broke your mods, but that's part of the journey. That type of stealth reveal would absolutely...
That's not gonna happen. And I'm pretty... Well, there is a chance it happens, but I don't think it's gonna happen, because CDPR, they're woke, and they know they're woke. That's the funniest thing about this situation. They're kind of self-aware, which typically these companies never really are. But CDPR is somehow magically self-aware. Now, granted, that does not mean that they're going to change, but they are self-aware, which does change a couple of things how they happen. And that is the fact that these companies are going to actually take the negative criticism into account. Fable did it when people were horrified in what they saw. And the CDPR also is going to change stuff. They already changed Siri in the further animations. Again, look at the original things that we got, the reveals, and look at how absolutely unconceivably ugly she is. And then how they made her better, made her more appealing and reasonable, and removed her man jaw. Now, granted, again, they're not going to change how she is. Her personality still seems absolutely horrid from everything that we have seen from what they have shown us, but at least she looks better. I guess that's a small win. So CDPR are probably currently thinking how the hell they can actually make this expansion without everything hating the shit out of it. That's what they are contemplating, and I think that's going to probably push things back, because they probably can't figure out how to make everyone not hate what they do. And obviously they're not going to find a solution for that, but destroying The Witcher 4 with the... So here's also the thing. They may actually cancel it if they believe that making the DLC for Witcher 3 is bad because it's going to make people not like 4. People are already very skeptical and very negative about 4 in general. And now they release DLC for 3 that ruins the ending of the game, effectively, kinda. Because everyone stopped playing The Witcher 3 on a very high note, but everyone liked it, everyone was fine, and all that stuff. And now they come back and the story's ass, and a bunch of things you hate happened. They may cancel. They literally may cancel The Witcher 4 DLC because of this. There is a very high possibility that they choose, well, we actually kind of made it, but releasing this is probably really, really, really stupid and bad. So maybe they just cancel it. There is a chance. Now, personally, I obviously want Anita Sarkeesian to be hired and make it. I want also Anita to be hired and you know, actually, CDPR may have actually hired Anita. There are chances. Or Zoe Quinn, you know, the epic duo. Oh boy, that's unironically possible, by the way. I mean, I am putting very little hopes on The Witcher 4 being a even reasonably decent game. So, I want all these companies to just hire Anita. She deserves her bag. She ruined gaming for generations. I mean, and all of these companies should hire her just so the coffin lid closes faster.
Shatter the internet. Like, I would be on a high for at least 2 months. Now, even if they don't do a shadow drop, I think dropping a teaser tweet during the anniversary window would be the perfect runaway for the bigger reveal later in the year, likely at, you know, Summer Game Fest or an Xbox showcase. At the very least on the anniversary, just tell me something, like just say the winds are howling, tell me sweet little lies. I don't care. Please, sir, can I get an ounce of hopium? I really want one. Yeah, I mean, guys, just think about it. We've already got the console mods. We know that's happening. So at the bare minimum, we get one last update, whether that's going to be new content or not. At the bare minimum, we know that this developer over at Ubisoft has been working on the Red Kit for about 4 months or 5 months. So yeah, not only do we have this guy, but we also have CDPR's janitor, who's probably developing this DLC. Keep up the good work, dude. Just keep it going. I'm sure you're gonna, you know, finish Titanfall 3 first and then give us this DLC. Okay, let me pop my tinfoil hat off and let's do a little bit less schizo posting. Now, if we don't get a shadow drop or a teaser during the anniversary window, I think the next obvious thing is Summer Game Fest in June. And honestly, I do think that timing makes a lot of sense for CDPR, but it really depends on when we get the DLC. Honestly, if we get the DLC soon, we get it before Summer Game.
This Summer Game Fest actually makes sense for big companies because you're throwing your announcement in the bucket with a bunch of other big things potentially and a lot of excitement. Sure, people are bound to pick up your announcement, but if you're a big company with something as beloved as the Witcher franchise, you don't need to wait for a Summer's Game Fest. As the last time I checked, CDPR was not owned by Microsoft. They were owned by BlackRock, which is a lot better, obviously. I'm 100% sure CDPR was facing bankruptcy and then some BlackRock Vanguard or whatever approached them and said, hey, how about we give you some money? And you can continue working. Wink, wink. Oh boy.
Fest, then I think they'll use Summer Game Fest to do another showcase for The Witcher 4. I think that there's a very solid chance that we get The Witcher 4 this year, like an actual gameplay showcase. Whether it's at Summer Game Fest or the Xbox Game Showcase, I don't know. I think it's going to be one of those two, though. We're still a ways out for The Witcher.
Oh, for The Witcher 4, yes, but for The Witcher 3 DLC, no.
Witcher 4, so they could decide to, you know, focus on the Witcher 3 expansion first and then use like a later showcase like the Game Awards to then, you know, reactivate the Witcher 4 fandom and hype. Like, just think about it. You hit the nostalgia audience with the Witcher 3, you know, DLC announcement, and then you immediately pivot to the future of the franchise with a massive Witcher 4 showcase. You would essentially activate the entire Witcher fan base. Like, you'd have the old players, the new players, people that are like never played the Witcher 3 but are interested in just the Witcher 4.
Yeah, I mean, that is a little bit of opium right there. Any case, that was a West Nemo 10 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Bye.